right, welcome everybody to our top 5 list of 2019 Dice Tower West. Thank you for coming. So at this point, we would be playing the podcast intro, and Eric will be saying something at some point in time. And if you're watching on video, blah, 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 he just ended and he said something negative about me. And this is where we start. Huh. I still don't get it.
But totally appropriate.
All right, folks, welcome to Dice Tower West 2019 Live. You're listening to us. We are here with 2 extra hosts today, Z Garcia and Sam Healy, along with our 4 regular audio podcast hosts, Suzanne, myself, Mandi, and the rest.
Is that how we start?
Well, I don't know what any of these lists are. So the idea for this list, so we want to be clear, and if you don't like it, the idea for this list came from Z Garcia.
Is it your idea?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was a good idea. I liked it. So it's, how are we phrasing this? Top 5 things to get out of my face.
Sure.
The top 5 get that out of my face games.
It could just be anything.
Things.
Stuff.
Things.
Stuff, yeah.
Well, now we know your list.
I'm good.
All right, so this is just stuff that we don't like, and we're here to talk about it. And maybe we'll agree. I'm wondering if me and Z will cross over. Maybe we'll agree with everyone. And I said there probably will be several things that I would have made my list had I thought of them.
My things are pretty specific, except number 1 is sort of a big thing. So maybe we'll cross over on
That time with Tom in 2010. All right.
One of them is meeting you. Let's get that out of my face.
There's a mood. There's a mood going on.
I kind of started it, so it's my own fault. All right, let's shoot this down to Sam. Here we go. Or Eric, give us our numbers.
Number 5. And that will continue to gradually taper off. All right, my number 5 is most of mine are mechanisms, by the way. Mechanisms that I'm just tired of, or things that come in games that I'm just tired of because either they waste money or they waste my time, or they're just not fun anymore.
I already know one of Sam's.
So my number 5, and this just really bugs me because it's unnecessary production. I don't mind nice-looking games. As a matter of fact, I wish more people had nice-looking games. I think that nice-looking games are more fun to play. All right? But the thing that really gets my goat is that when there is this huge or thing, and it's just a first-player token. That's it. And we have to pass this monolith around just so that we can keep track of first players. That's just dumb. How stupid do they think we are that we need this huge thing? It's like a trophy. My son's calling me, I'm sorry.
He's like, I love big
He was
things.
going to tell you were wrong.
But it's probably true, right?
Are you saying against first player markers in general, or just big ones?
No, specifically oversized first player tokens.
Well, you see, the demographics of America are changing, and we're gradually getting older. The gaming hobby is aging, and so, it's a visual.
Why do you keep trying to turn this into a TED Talk?
I'm trying to branch out. I'm available for.
Nobody's here to learn.
So visual anyway.
That was uncalled for and also unprepared.
I like it, Sam. I think it's a good choice.
just don't. I think they're stupid, and I think they're unnecessary. So
I
I don't
like
want to
them.
see them anymore. Huh?
I like them. I think they're fun.
Nobody cares what you think. So.
I like them because when they're bigger, they're more
Nobody
fun.
cares what you think either.
Oh, it's getting nasty. This is just number 5, y'all. Save it.
Alrighty, well, my number 5, I took
What
a
a
little...
goofy pick. I'm sorry.
You're just mad because I spilled Rockstar on you. So, I took a little different approach from you, Sam, because of course I am amongst us the kind, sensitive, thoughtful individual.
What?
Right? And so I take it as more of a, these are things that, maybe just aren't for me.
I would like to reference said waiters from a few seconds ago.
So my number 5, anything that ends with the word after dark.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Good.
Well, there goes my show idea.
Yeah, I appreciate that adult-themed games they reach a certain audience and they're being made because they sell and they make money. And the reality is that those games can actually help bring in new adults into the gaming world, and I actually really appreciate their value. But for me personally, I think the most fun I have during gaming sessions and the most humor I see in the gaming sessions come from the meta within the group and come from the jokes that we develop ourselves, and I don't need cards that say poop or boobies on it to make me laugh. So,
Or fart.
well, everybody, I love farts. I mean, come on, you don't love good farts.
I have a game you'll really like.
Might want to
actually.
rephrase that.
Yeah, exactly.
You could have people coming up to you, hey.
Just another Friday, buddy. So that's it. That's my number 5. No After Dark games for me. Thank you.
Oh my.
6 minutes, and we're already.
I know, like, I'm scared. Like,
There'll be nothing left for us.
Come on, fellas. By the time it gets down here, I'm gonna have nothing to go with.
For once, I did not breach the subject of, well, I guess I did. But she said poop.
Welcome to Dice Tower and After Dark. It's what kids think After Dark is.
Yeah, exactly.
So my number 5 is a mechanism. It's a card that often shows up in lighter games. You will be, building a hand of cards, for example, and trying to figure out what order to play them in and how to set your strategy and achieve whatever goal you're trying to do. And then someone plays a card that says, "Everyone trade hands." And suddenly everything you had going on here is now with that guy.
That's
Enjoy all my strategy. Oh, what have you been doing? Oh, thanks.
Why is he looking at me? Also, you are our Flux reviewer. This is not a good sentiment from you.
It's very true. It's not one aspect I enjoy in that particular game. Anyway, trade hands is my number 5.
All right, my number 5. I've said it a lot, and I still mean it. I'm tired, and I hate ties. In a game.
Oh.
Easy fix. Stop wearing them, man.
That's Tower After Dark, baby. Now it's Suzanne doesn't like that sort of thing.
I'm offended, frankly.
This show is going off the rails quick.
Now, every time I say it, people are like, look, Cosmic Encounter can end with ties. But in Cosmic Encounter, you choose to go together and have a joint victory. When I will play a game and I'm trying to be the sole victor, and then we look in the back of the rule book and they're like, enjoy your joint victory if they're jerks. Or don't, some of them don't mention it at all. This happened to me yesterday, or the book didn't even mention what to do. And some designers just aren't smart enough to design a tiebreaker. Ooh. Yeah! Oh, yeah! Ooh. Okay, that might have gone too far.
Oh, it's my turn. Oh my goodness, I don't have anything now. So, my number 5, I went with any type of game that requires memory. Now, that's just a me thing because I have a horrific memory. But then if I'm playing these games, everyone else is like, yeah, get in the pairs. And I feel like, I'm still in kindergarten. Like, is that match? And it's there, Mandy. It's right in front of you. Memory is not my strong suit.
It's really not.
And if how are you going to help me like that? bad.
You're not supposed
I
to.
already feel bad about myself.
It's so bad. This is also her number 3 pick.
Man.
Funny story, it actually was doubled on the list. Not even joking. I just can't do it.
Oh my goodness. At least you know we don't use a script. You can't write stuff like that.
Nobody would want to.
You good? All right.
I'm good.
My number 5 is I've been playing a lot of bigger, sort of epic dungeon crawl style games. And
50 minutes.
or shorter. They're just big. I didn't say long. I said big. But one thing that's really been bothering me lately is a lot of these games. They're gorgeous. You open them up, then you punch everything, and it will not go back in the box after you punch it. It's just cardboard, but they did not design it to hold the pieces after they're all punched. So you end up playing that game where you put everything back except the bits, and then you spread them out across the top. It's real fun,
I hate
right?
that.
That is just lovely, because you can't bag the stuff. It becomes too lumpy, and you can't close the lid. So it's starting to get to me. I had to, I forget what game it was, but it
Was it
had
Hate?
little doors that you would put a little plastic base on.
Hate, claustrophobia?
Hate's fine. It was Rise of Moloch, I think, that bothered me. But that was the last one it happened with, where I had to take the little doors and line the inside of the board with. So it won't sit on top of the board. So it's really getting to me. Stop it. Account for that when you make your box.
You
My
probably
number 5
shouldn't
pick.
play Gloomhaven more.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's not good.
There you go.
Who knew when we played Tetris as kids that we were preparing for now?
Number 4.
A little bit of a surge from last time. All right, my number 4 is actually 2 mechanisms that, when coupled together, I want to throw the game off the roof and shoot it as it's going down. Then, when it hits the ground, I want to go down there and hit it with a flamethrower and then watch it burn.
So how do you really feel?
Programmable movement, and take that.
Yes!
Those are paired together. I want to be angry without even playing the game. If I know that the game has it in there, I'm not happy, because I like to program things. I like to put things in an order and have my little, for example, robot go through its little program.
No, you don't.
And that's fine. But then people run into me because they don't care, or they didn't do a good a job as I did in programming my robot, and they knock it off. And then when it happens, they go, "Oh, haha, isn't that funny?" No, it's not.
The problem is I think it's really funny, but I'm afraid to even smile. I'm like, oh, that's too bad.
Again.
Right.
What if they were aiming for you and they programmed better than you because you didn't account for them running into you?
No, that's not okay.
That's Eric telling you to just get good.
I know
Yes.
Eric plays Flux. I'm just saying.
So?
So I like programmable movement. I even enjoy Take That every once in a while. But please don't put them together, because then you might be responsible for homicides.
Of games.
Wow.
Of games.
Wow.
Let the record show.
Yeah, okay, game-asides. There you go.
I mean, it's
scary.
cool. Robo Rally's only in my top 20 games of all time, but we'll have a talk later. I'm
You know
not
what 2
scared of you.
mechanisms I'm scared of? Worker placement and homicides. I don't want any of that.
That's called contract killing. Worker placement, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's come back.
That is.
Back to Suzanne's kind list.
That's right. So I've realized I need abstraction to enjoy a game. That's all.
Really?
I don't want any theme
Wait.
that is
At all?
modern politics. I need
Oh,
25
For
years.
finishing
I
that
figured it out.
sentence.
Yeah,
I put a lot of thought into this.
Calm
I
down,
need a
Christopher
minimum
Walken,
of
you're slow playing.
25 years of abstraction before I can sink into a politically themed game.
Okay.
So it's what, 2019?
Yeah, so it was this morning. I
So,
don't know.
you know, we can go to the
1960s,
90s.
okay,
The
yeah.
90s, like 60s I'm down with, 70s, 80s. 80s are just awesome.
What about like electioneering games that have no theming?
If it's not real world, that's totally fine. But
Okay.
any because I used to cover Kickstarter and I saw
There's a lot.
so many games popping up on Kickstarters like frickin' daisies or dandelions that were capitalizing on modern politics, and they were all universally looked terrible, just awful, and so they're not for me.
They're almost never fun either.
Yeah. So modern politics,
How
goodbye.
sad.
My number 4 is it's practically become its own subgenre because they just keep cropping up. Apparently these games are making money, and that is the dental implant game.
That almost was my number 6.
with the plastic device that goes.
Oh, I was thinking like an actual tube that you're putting in someone's mouth.
Almost universally, everybody's going.
Wait, Eric. What was it again? I didn't get
Guard.
it. What?
So you gotta take like this. Welcome to the desktop. Anyway,
I will give you money to do that.
I don't know why somebody thinks that you could keep making them. I guess one was successful and 5 different ones are successful somehow, but I keep seeing new ones come out, but it's still the same thing. It's that plastic that you stick on face. So get that out of my face.
Say the name of the list. Say it.
I'm gonna wrap these and send them to your kids for Christmas.
No. Get
I
that.
like it.
Get that out of my mouth.
All right, my number 4 is. Okay, well, okay.
What's wrong? Why are you getting choked?
Lies. Lies on boxes. I'm tired of it. Stop lying about player count and time. For example, don't put 35 minutes in your box because you just made that number up. They like timed one game, they're like, oh, yeah, 35 minutes. First of all, the times lengths are always shorter. And of course, there's always that one guy in the internet who's like, well, we play this game in 2 hours. You know, Twilight Imperium, we play 6 player 2 hours all the time. You're like, first of all, you're lying.
That is.
But secondly, no. Put the time that most people do to play the box, and also player count. If the 5th player shouldn't be in there, don't put it in the box. If it's not a 2-player game, don't put it in the box. How many times have you bought a 2 to 5 player game, you open it up, and the rules don't even mention 2 players till the very end? Then they're like, oh yeah, variant.
So much.
Yeah.
Yes.
Make up a 3rd dummy player. Yeah, I'm the dummy for buying the game. Stop lying.
Yeah, baby. Yeah. Give in to that after dark hate.
The best.
Careful. Don't go down that road.
Okay, so the next game on my list, it's a game that's really popular with a lot of people and requires you to be really good at kind of, keeping a straight face, sometimes mostly working with a team, trying to figure out who the bad person is. As someone said it. Social deduction is on my list of games that I don't particularly enjoy. And I also find you need to generally play them. Oh, thank you. I know you generally need to play them with people that tends to work a bit better. So, I don't know, it makes me think of, the time where, I was a goalie for a hockey team. I only volunteered because no one else was going to do it. Then I didn't stop all the pucks and they were getting mad at me. And I said, well, wait, no, I just volunteered because no one else wanted to do it. But we're supposed to be doing it as a team. And, I just thought I'd be really good at it, but apparently I wasn't so good at it, and then everyone was angry. So I feel like social deduction is like that because then if you don't lie really well or bluff really well, and you fail your team, then they get upset with you.
This is a TED
Thank
Talk.
you, Mandy, for sharing.
But I had to use a hockey example. It was the best one I could think of.
That sounded like it needed to be said. You know what I mean? She
I was holding it in. I'm sorry.
Get it off. Yeah.
Jerk.
Let it go.
Hockey team.
Put it out there, and the universe will take it.
Exactly. Okay.
All right, my number 4 is a trend I have noticed, which is it appears that the smaller the game, the more designers it takes to complete that game. So you got, you can buy TI4, right? And I'm pretty sure, correct me if I'm wrong, that it's just Christian Peterson's name on that big old box.
He does have an entire team of designers.
He does.
Sure,
This is true.
It was his original team, yeah.
all games have a development team. That's
Yeah,
fine,
yeah.
but it's just his name on the box.
Right.
But you buy this Go Fish variant, and 12 dudes worked on it. And they're all on the cover.
I'm telling you, it's because they're
Hard
all
stuff, man.
I'm thinking my
drunken
logic.
party.
I think the logic behind it for me is just like for TI4, someone came along and gave him a tip for something small he should change, and he did, but that person's not a designer. When the game has 4 rules, me suggesting hand size should be 5 instead of 4 is 20% of the rules. So I better be on the cover.
Yes.
I think that's what it is.
That's a good point.
But you gotta stop.
I think maybe
Just-
in a lot of these cases, they're just spreading the blame. Someone says, I don't like this game. They're like, well, it wasn't just me. I was outvoted.
So that's one that I just don't get it. Just whoever came up with it and did most of the work, just put your name on the cover. Everybody else can go in the rule book or something. It's fine. Stop it. Get it out of my face. That's my number 4.
That was thematic.
Number 3.
See, Sam shamed y'all.
You're welcome.
And now you're trying to prove a point.
You're welcome, Mary. Yes.
This is
You're
a
welcome,
complicated
everybody.
system, you see.
All right, my number 3 is well. First of all, since we're having this tent talk, or what do you want to call it?
Tense stuff.
Whatever.
Like a circus, that's what it is.
We
Yes.
gotta watch it.
Anyway, here we go. Listen,
Talk.
my brain doesn't work as well as other people's.
Yep.
And it just doesn't work as fast. I process information slower than everybody else does. So when we play a game that's either real time or has timed actions and it's cooperative, yeah, I'm wanting to flip the table after the first round because I know what I'm doing, but it doesn't look like I know what I'm doing because I'm doing it slower than everybody else. But that's not my fault because my brain works differently. I'm not stupid.
You just said you were. All right.
Hey Tom, what's your favorite game? Does it have any cooperation or speed element?
Well, listen, Jason is there to help you through
No,
these
Jason just makes me feel stupider.
Jason's like, do this, do this, do this. Just listen.
No, I'm not a sheep.
That's bad advice, man. Yeah,
I
don't
just
listen.
really don't like games that have real-time actions. Jeff Engelstein, he's a great guy and he's a great designer. But most of his games have this element in it where you are rolling against a timer or you only have a certain amount of time to do 15 million things and you can't get it all done. I like the guy, but man, his games are just
He's number 3, Jeff Engelstein.
Yeah,
It feels like a therapy session.
I like Jeff, he's a great guy, but his games are just not. And any other kind of real time or timed action games are just not for me. So please remove it from my facial area.
How do you feel about him personally, though?
He's a good guy. I like him.
Why?
No.
Alrighty. All right. Good job. All right, my number 3. That's what we're on, right? Number 3?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Negotiation games. Meh. Meh.
Oh, ooh, wow, a few people.
Because
cried.
inevitably, unless you have a very solid meta within a group that all knows each other and all plays on the same competency level, negotiation games can go tilt so fast because you're gonna have that sweet innocent soul, like myself, of course.
Oh, come on. Give that up already, Suzanne.
No one believes
No
you.
one believes
You keep
you.
saying it, making it true.
What,
Who looks at it and is like,
fantasy world
okay,
is this?
so hey, here's 57 gold pieces for that piece of celery.
Done.
Does that, will you want to try? I'm like, ooh, I want to get, that sounds amazing. Here's 57 gold. I love celery. And then they make that amazing trade, and inevitably that sets up like somebody for just a windfall win. And I think that that's so common in negotiation games. It's so unbalanced depending on an individual. It depends so incredibly highly on multiple elements of an individual's personality, their competency with the game, their understanding of the dynamics. It's
I've
bleh.
never seen celery. In any game.
Oh, I just thought it was edited. Like, I have never seen celery, period. I've never seen celery.
Certainly, celery wouldn't go for 57 pieces of silver. What are you doing?
Wow.
Vegetables, you animal. It's getting real.
Who came up with this topic?
Oh, yeah, right there.
You guys are having fun, yeah?
My number 3 actually came up on the podcast not too long ago. I think
Oh, no.
a week or two ago. Variable end game.
That's great.
I know. This is when you get to a certain point in the game and then you draw a card to see if maybe the game ends right now. Or you roll a die to see if the game ends right now. And then maybe things escalate a little bit, but you don't know when it's I want to know either that the game ends here, or I want to know that the game is going to end when this particular thing happens. Not a roll of the die, not a turn of the card, but somebody reaches a finish line or reaches a certain number of points. That's what I want to see. But so we've made it 8 rounds, but it might go 15 rounds. Who knows? Let's roll the die and see if the game is done now. No.
So like games where you seed a deck and you shuffle the end game card and the bottom 5 cards and then you put them in the deck. Is that the kind?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
All
better.
we want,
That's better.
I'll disagree with so far.
It's the
Roll up his sleeves.
there's okay ways to do it, and if you know that like the last 4 cards could do it, but it's the die roll that's driving me nuts that
So
could
he
end the
just
game.
he just came back off of. what
That's like
you
in
said.
3 games.
You said
I'm
put a
angry,
card in the bottom 5 cards, and he said, "Ugh." And
No,
now
I
he's
could-
saying that's okay.
I'm angry at the die. That's really what
The die?
That die.
That's our whole show is based on.
The one that ends the game. Other dice are fine.
What if
Right, I'm done now.
what if you roll the die or flip the card and everybody has 2 more turns?
That's better.
It's the
That's
same
great.
thing.
How about 1 more turn?
He said it, you went so hard. Yeah.
Right.
You're getting set up so hard.
Okay, no, but one more turn I'm okay with. It's that it ends right now based on the roll
Okay,
of the
that's
die.
more specific. Okay,
Yeah.
that's good.
He's so upset he's tapping on the table. That's how
know,
upset
right?
he is. That's
Pounding on
I
That's
that.
took
big
the
time.
headphones off first.
yeah.
That's a no-no.
Man,
Oh, okay.
Anyway, that's my number 3.
All right. My number 3 is a very specific one to only a few games, but the games that do it, I hate them. I mean, so we can go on a whole long thing about rule books here. But I understand that to make Kickstarters attractive now, you need to have 75 add-ons, expansions, and modules, and so on. That's whatever. That's the way life is. I understand that you have to figure out how to put all that in the box. But when you put it in a rule book, please separate it out. I cannot tell you how much I hate rule books where everything is just muddled. Here's the component list, blah, 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 blah. Well, which of these is for the extra Kickstarter stuff, and which of these is for Module 6, which I don't know I'm supposed to use? And then rule books that mix the rules together. They're like, do this, do this. If with 2 players, do this, do this, do this. If you're playing solo, do this. If it's a cooperative game, do this. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Wow.
Oh, I like that.
No, you don't.
I do. I don't want to get to the end and see it. I like it right there.
How is that helpful?
It
You have to
is.
like pick it out. You're like, oh wait, this paragraph, and then sometimes the paragraph will be like blah 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 blah. If with 2 players.
Just make it a different color.
that amount.
Make it a
Yeah.
different color.
One rulebook did make it a different color. It was dark green, which is the same as black.
Okay, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with
I
that.
really hate that.
Wait, you
I
don't
really-
disagree with that statement?
Right.
Black is not the same as dark green.
Right.
I'm gonna put that out.
blends.
It might have appeared the same, but they are not.
So wait. You're okay if the rule book, like the setup says, you need to put this here, this here, this here, this here, and this here, and then you get all the way through the rules, and then at the end it says changes for 2 players.
Exactly.
Yes.
And then you go, wait, but I already set all this up.
Right.
Well,
Now I gotta do this deck all over again. I gotta do this all over again.
Yeah, I don't care. Well, first of all, stop making stupid changes for 2 players. Okay? Make it play the same way. Just put this for 2 players, this for 3, this for 4. I don't care so much about the setup. I care so much about Module D not being in the game, and yet they talk about it throughout the rules.
I think you're
Or
more
they
like
talk
a
about
Kickstarter issue,
stuff
right?
That's
Okay,
not
yeah.
even in the box.
Yeah, that's bad.
Like, oh yeah, here's 2 factions if you bought the Kickstarter box. I didn't get the Kickstarter box, so shut up about those factions I can't get.
But if you did get the Kickstarter box, then you want them all in one place.
No,
you
I
have
don't
one
think
rule
so. I'm telling you. Okay. How many rule books do you read a year?
Oh.
You're pulling rank?
I am! It's awful! Do you remember that Mars game?
Yes, I do.
Did
Yes.
you think that-
Okay, I will sit. Yes, you're right. Yes. You're right.
It was this
stand
Mars game.
corrected.
What was the game called?
It was. Oh boy. No.
No,
it was.
worse than that. Sorry, Gracie, but it's true. No, but this game had a cooperative game, a solo game, a competitive
Yes.
game, and a semi-co-op game, and they mixed all the rules together. They said, if doing a cooperative game, do this, 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 and this. If semi-co-op, do this, this, and this. And I was like,
Well,
wow!
that's excessive.
I put the game aside. We've never
That's-
played it and
yeah,
never will.
Yeah. No, okay, that's
Sounds
bad.
awful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's rough.
I have to go look it up. That was it.
Yes.
What is it?
Martians: A Story of Civilization.
Oh, I didn't play that.
No one
Buying.
played the game.
Gift for Tom.
Wait, what number are we on?
3.
Three.
So, I'm sorry, memory. So my number 3 actually came up as we were discussing games. So sometimes when you're playing games and you want to play with 2 players, it's not always possible. So then they decided to come up with something called a dummy player.
Yes.
I hate it so much.
I,
And I don't say hate a lot, but ugh, as soon as I see dummy player, like it's like, okay, I don't want to play this game.
Yeah.
I can't. I feel like you just shouldn't make it.
Just play a 2-player game.
That's it. Well, but you know what I mean? Like it shouldn't even be a thing. Just don't make it. It's just not, if it's not going to work without a dummy player, then don't put that as a count.
Our parents told us not to say dummy. But then it's in a game. I
Exactly.
invited him to the table.
I feel like
What's
you're
going
picturing
on?
someone else's thing.
I hate the dummy
Personified.
player. I hate it.
Didn't
It's like
you like
Mannequin 3.
the Carson City card game? Have you not played that? I thought you had. You
No, I haven't played it.
No.
Oh, I played it.
Oh, no,
That's
that
like,
was Suzanne.
That's like
yeah.
dummy player the card game.
Oh, I played it. Yeah.
Anything below, I think it's what, 4 players?
Oh.
Yes.
Literally anything below 4 players needs
A dummy player?
a matching number of dummy hands.
Yes.
No.
Oh, yeah, no.
That's
Or 5
wow.
or something. It's crazy.
No, it was,
If
yeah,
you
I
play
brought
with
it to a
3,
game.
there's
I was
like 2
all
dummy
excited. I pulled it
hands.
out.
If
I
you
pulled
play
out
with
the
2,
rule
there's 3
book.
dummy hands. There
And
could
I'm
be
like-
more fake players at the table than real people.
Yeah.
That's wild.
That's exactly right.
Yeah,
That's
too
out there, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, no.
Alrighty, my number 3 is pretty specific. I've seen it again, something that keeps cropping up, and I'm sick of it. We're past this point, and that is card games, especially fighty sort of card games with a bunch of stats on the cards that have.
I agree.
That have. Thank you.
Card games.
That have. Card games that have that the card frames look like they're from dead 1990s collectible card games, and it's like it's a piece of artwork. It's a random heart up here, a little fist down here. There's 2 little swords in the corner, and then over here a lightning symbol with a 7 below it. And then over here, there's 2 dudes staring at each other longingly, but then below that, it's like what is in the car? It's just ugly and grainy. We are way past these awful-looking frames.
is he
You
playing?
open one of these games up, I look at it, I immediately go, "Oh, I should have bought this on eBay for $3.99." Years after they stopped supporting it, which I did, and I've done that a lot. So that really bothers me. We got to do better with card designs than this old recycled stuff.
Yes.
That's my number 3.
Number 2.
That's a little too much. Let's start bringing it back down.
All right, so my number 2 actually maybe rides on the coattails a little bit of what Z just said.
Oh yeah, I thought
Because
you were
talked
just
about
mocking me, Cat.
those old CCG card games and all
Good.
that other kind of stuff,
Yeah.
or that look.
Yeah.
Well, mine is kind of similar to that. I don't want to look into the rule book, and then the last 3 pages is a glossary of terms that I now have to memorize in order to play your stupid 2-player card game.
You know what makes that worse is when the card has a big empty block on it, and they could have just put there what the card does.
Yes!
They're like, shadow, empty space.
Yes! That's exactly what these things do.
That's a good one.
They use one word, and they expect you to learn what that word means in the back of the rule book.
Murdering your
I
card.
just got through telling you on number 3, my brain doesn't work that good. I only have a certain amount of memory up here. Stop making me use it for stupid stuff.
I want to see Sam and Mandy playing this game together. I want to see that.
We're in trouble. Make up our
That's good.
I'm
Play
doing
that card, be
this,
like,
and it's going to
shadow.
do that. But what is that called? I don't care.
We'll get to that point.
Stop making me learn a brand new list of vocabulary words that is just for your game.
Well, the worst is what? Netrunner, right? The Android Netrunner?
Yeah.
Because you had a bunch of terms.
Yes.
Twice.
Yes.
'Cause both sides have different terms for the same thing.
Yes.
So your deck is called one thing, like R&D or whatever. There's a bunch of Netrunner players in here somewhere. And then the other side is called the headquarters. I mean, it's just nuts.
Again, I don't care. I just don't play. I played that game one time.
And then you burnt it, I remember.
I didn't burn it.
No, wasn't that lady who came up and helped Z play?
Yes.
I don't know if I would call it help.
Yeah. Right.
Let's not go that far. We were playing 7
Every single thing I did, it was like.
Yeah, we were sitting there
This is the
figuring it
first
out.
time I played the game, and they're sitting there critiquing it. You shouldn't have done that.
She came over and started asking me if I had put card X or whatever in my deck. And I'm like, ma'am, I have no idea. You're clearly like, you're way ahead of my curve right now.
Yes. All right, so that's my number 2. Stop making me learn new vocabulary to play your game.
So sorry. Anybody who, like, every time, just so you know, every time we do one of these top 5 insert criticism thing here,
Someone gets mad.
this is going to be on the list.
Oh, okay.
Every time it's going to be on my list, because if I have to turn my components away from me to play the game, I will not play the game.
Memory.
So if it involves me having my hand of cards face away from me, or my tiles face away from me, I'm gonna just step away from the table. I'm good.
That's the point of the game?
Especially if that's the point of the game. I do not click with that mechanism at all. It makes me itchy and uncomfortable now. I just don't like
So
it.
you don't like hidden information at all?
That's hidden information is very different than what I'm talking about. Because this ain't hidden. This is everybody else seeing it
Right, but it's
and
hidden from
messing
you.
stuff up.
It's hidden from you.
So
It's
you don't like
no.
when everybody else knows something about you that you don't know.
Wow. We're going there. I know, right?
This guy really.
What if the card is stuck to your forehead?
Yeah, so you're saying like a headband game you don't like that party game where you
Oh, don't pretend we're going to have a normal conversation now.
Yeah.
Jerry.
I don't know what I did.
Where's the chair?
The same thing you always do. Don't pretend you don't.
you know, Summer.
I don't want to do my number 2.
Cards that face me.
So, my number 2 is boring roll and write covers. So, okay, just imagine.
Wow.
Imagine with me.
Okay, I'm giving you a very short runway on this.
Imagine, if you will, a box cover. It's a dark background, black, maybe dark blue.
Apart from space and time.
And
If it's black and dark green, it's the
exploding
same.
from that background are multicolored dice. Ooh, it's a red one, a black one. Boom, boom, boom. What game am I talking about?
No, it could be like 5
Could
different
be a whole
games.
bunch of them.
But they all said one
And
game.
they're all good.
I didn't say that they weren't good. I said the cover's boring. Ooh, it's a red exploding from the box. These ones are white. Oh, I just want something different. There's too many boxes.
Also, their names are often very similar. Like this is Flex and this is blah, you know.
Flex and
I would play that.
Flex and blocks and bricks.
I'm going to allow this because I see where you're coming from.
Okay.
And I would say, Eric Summer, you've made a good point.
What's the solution though?
The solution is
Make everything about space trading.
pie.
The dice game.
Space trading.
He would play that.
All right, my number 2 is a crossover with Eric. Actually, this was the first one that came to my mind, and that's a random change of game state. I hate it. We just had this happen to us when we played live the other week, and we're putting our strategy together, and the game was like, now everyone pass your things you did to the other person.
I don't
That's-
mind that because usually my strategy isn't that good. I was like, oh yeah, that'll work good. Thanks, see?
You're welcome, buddy.
It's just lazy design. It really is. It's like this chaotic thing, and it's especially irritating when the game is bigger. But there are games that like stand up and switch spots with the other person. No, I sat in a seat for a reason. I don't want to trade with them. I don't want to give them my stuff. It's so frustrating to trade whole hands with people. I mean, probably someone can think of some sort of outlier where this makes sense. Maybe there are weird things. I know there's a power and cosmic encounter and stuff, but you know that exists. You know the possibilities there. But a random event card that just says or resets everything that everyone's built, that's even worse. Something that just changes the game state randomly for everyone to the worst, it's not fun at all. I hate it. I hate it.
You want it gone from your face.
You hate it too.
I do. But all the games I play are like 12 minutes, so it's fine.
It's over quickly.
So my number 2 is actually kind of in the same vein as Eric, but don't worry, it's not rolling right, so we're still good. Okay.
I know where you're sleeping tonight, so.
But it's so frustrating when I see a game cover and I'm like, ooh, this game's going to be about trains and trading and really fun things. And then I'm like, why is it about aliens and space? It's not what I thought of at all. I have a particular game in mind. This is why I say this. But it happens often where the box is not exactly what's happening on the inside. So for me, it's a slight pet peeve.
I don't understand this one actually.
This is not top 5 pet peeves.
Listen, though.
It's things that must be removed from proximity to your face.
That's it.
Wait,
This was
so
when
wait,
she played
you bought-
18 Area 51.
I didn't buy it. Let's
So
be clear.
there's a game that had knights in the cover, but it was actually about space.
Not exactly, but yes, something fairly close to that. So when I looked at it, I feel the art, and this is even sometimes in a game, the art should match what you're talking about.
Yes.
That's like stop bad advertising or covering.
Right?
I mean, that's like
But yes,
That's a good thing to get out of our faces. Bad
Exactly.
advertising. I'm down.
I don't see.
I get it.
seems like a real basic.
It feels like you're thinking about one
Oh, now
game.
we're
like they
doing
put the
levels?
wrong cover on
Andy,
the
he just
game.
called you basic.
Oh no, I know. Don't even. He's just trying to add me right now.
There's been games that we talked about that have been like this. What is that? Hyperborea? Hyperborea
Yeah.
looks like a really cool fantasy game, and you open it up and it's like dry
Thank you.
toast in the box.
Exactly. You can't get so excited, but you're into it, and then you're like, what is this?
No, I get that. I get that the cover looks exciting and it's not
Right.
exciting. But that's not what you said. You said that there was one theme and it's a different theme.
Which also could mean that it's not as exciting when you open the box.
But I've never seen a game that did that.
Oh, there's a few.
504.
There's a few. See?
Where are those
that you-
floating bubbles?
I love that you said 504 in a discussion about theme.
I will say my version of that is picking that game up off the shelf and then flipping it over. That's when
yeah.
because you look at the cover and you go, yeah, look at that. Oh, that's like some sort of space warrior. And then you flip it back over and it's a grid and there's 6 colored cubes.
That actually sounds
I've
really
been
good.
had.
See, I would like that treat, but
That's not what you're talking about? Oh man.
I still don't know what we're talking about. Call out the game's name.
we'll talk later.
All right, you good? My number 2 has to do with rulebook and particularly the usage of space in that rulebook. Look, I like the theme of your game, and Joe the Prospector seems like an interesting character, but I don't need a biography of Joe the Prospector in the back of the rulebook when you didn't put a breakdown of, like, say, the cards.
That's fair.
I like the theme, but I'm not gonna write fan fiction about it. I don't like it that much. Tell me what the cards do. Save the fiction for the website or something. Don't trade. Those are not tradable. I need game information first. Fluff. If you have extra pages, come on now. So that's a big one for me. I hate turning to the back of a rule book and just seeing the drawing of hey, I'm the prospector. Whole page about me. But not what this one card does. Get it out of my face.
And finally, number 1.
You are welcome.
It's a team effort.
That's right.
That is very much so.
All right. How many of you would like to design a game at some point in the near future? Maybe you want to think about it. Maybe you want to try it. I don't know. Maybe we got one back there. Okay. One over here. Okay, good. There's 2 of you that I'm going to talk to. Okay, one, a third, right here. Okay,
What are we doing here?
if at any point in time, the idea pops into your head that the players should roll a die to see how far they can move or how many actions they're going to get this turn, stop designing your game. Please.
Stop designing.
Please stop it, because it's so frustrating. I so much I can do this turn. 1. Fine. The next person. I have no idea what I'm going to do today. Roll 6. Oh my goodness, what am I going to do? It is so frustrating. And then movement, I can move 1, yay! And then she gets to roll 2 6s and she moves 12. And she leaves me and then I die because all the aliens are right here.
Yeah, but you thought it was about the West.
That's true. Aliens versus cowboys, right?
That's what it was? Okay.
But what if you can spend money to get a red drive and skip dots, so you move faster, or roll more dice?
What are you talking about?
But what if you can mitigate that luck by buying, say, equipment to fly your ship faster?
He's still back in the 80s.
No.
Okay, just ask.
Look. If you give me a hand of cards that have different movement values on it, great. Because then I'm choosing what I want to do, and I can work that into my strategy.
No can do, sorry. I'm sorry. It was real low-hanging fruit. It was basically like hitting me in the face. I had to. I would like to formally apologize. It's like the worst joke ever. What are you laughing at?
That's it.
Anyway, rolling for movement and/or actions should be banned. You should be forcibly removed from your designing office if you try to put a game on the market now that has that mechanism in it. Stop it. Shame on you. Go ahead.
Gotta,
I like
gotta
it.
email a friend real quick. Number 1,
Yes.
zombies.
Oh, I should have seen that coming.
Notice how silent it is in here?
I don't care. Like, I'm done. That's it.
That's it. I'm done.
No, I hate zombies. I hate the zombie theme.
They don't like you either. So they don't like anybody. They just...
I've said it before, but like I was good with zombies when it was the good old shambling George Romero, Night of the Living Dead,
Oh, when
Risen.
zombies were cool,
like,
I know.
Like that was all fine, but then this movie came out called 28 Days Later that introduced fast zombies.
What does that do? What does that do with board games?
Cause now I'm really scared
No,
of
she
them.
really is. No, she really is. She really is. I can attest to this. She really is.
That's not where I thought that was going at all.
I saw that one coming. I saw it.
I'm tired of zombie games. There's too many of them out there. No, it's... I'm terrified. Please stop making those games.
The little cardboard box can't hurt you.
The plastic won't come and get you at night.
How do you know?
Because I have a lot
Because
of those.
maybe it'll contract a rage disease that melts its brain, and they're gonna come and kill us all.
That's a great theme for a game. It's a zombie game that comes to life.
There was this movie called Child's Play. Things happen. Dark.
What is happening? Rabbit hole.
Sam's usually like fear
Rabbit
theory or
hole.
something.
Child's Play is creepy. I'm so sorry. It totally
Child's
is.
Play is bad.
No.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for that tidbit.
They're also making a roll and write from it, I heard.
Suzanne rolls 5 Chuckies in a row.
I'm out. It's just called Chucky.
That's actually really good. Yes.
I want to thank the Academy.
Eric,
Sam has gone drunk with power. And
Come with me.
All right. My number 1 is unfriendly blind bidding.
I agree with that.
No, this is when there's an auction and you throw, everybody throws out a certain amount of money, but everybody's gonna lose the money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so somebody
Revolution.
wins something.
In your face, asshole.
But the other person who bid one fewer also gets nothing.
Right.
But I bid 7 and I bid 6 and I lost 6. I got the auction. I got nothing.
Yes.
No. Get it out of my face.
Yeah.
I'm done.
No, look, I understand it. That's good. I get it. All right, let's go back to rule books. All right.
He took his hat off, y'all.
settle in, children.
You know, it was Gallagher. You remember Gallagher? Y'all better pull up that plastic sheet. It's coming. Better watch it.
Now listen. Look, I read a lot of rule books and there's a lot of setups and stuff. I know that you're rushing your game to the market as fast as you possibly can. And I know that you don't even have a copy of the game yet when you make the rule book because you're lazy. And you're trying to get it out as quickly as you can, and you can't even make a computer-generated picture of your game. But a lack of picture of the components and how the game is set up is so frustrating and just makes me really think somewhat violent thoughts. I especially dislike when there are 17 decks of cards and I don't know what these cards are. And you're like, shuffle the Buguga cards. And I'm like, I don't don't know which deck that is, and put it in the
got
fruit
cards.
zone. I don't know what that is either, because you didn't bother to put a picture in the rule book of either of those. And then finally in the index, I'll find that there's 27 of these cards, so I have to count each deck to see which one has 27 cards, and then 2 of them have 27 cards. And then I look, and there's actually 8 decks in the box, and you only mentioned 7 in the setup.
One of them's a Kickstarter
I
exclusive.
Yeah, baby.
But wait,
You got the extra Baguga card.
but you're
Let's go.
complaining that they shouldn't put the exclusive
They didn't put it anywhere in the note. It's not even in the book. It's in a separate sheet of paper somewhere else. But the picture doesn't help me. I don't know which one's to pick. Or they'll even add extra bonus cards, so there's actually no deck with 27 cards. And then I'm not sure. And it says, and put the advanced cards here, and do this. I hate you. So much. Because you couldn't wait to put a picture in the box. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Wow.
Sorry.
Oh, I gotta follow this now.
Good.
Okay,
It's
not as
good.
exciting.
It's good.
So my number 1 was going to be party games, but then I thought of an experience I had with Eric Lang playing Time's Up, demonstrating the birth of Venus. I laughed quietly to myself and then moved on. So, don't ask. It was amusing.
My number 1 is like bad images.
Hey, what happened to Vegas?
So instead I went with, when games have too many mechanics, too many things going on. They're trying to make it really interesting, but they put so many things.
You like Stefan Feld games.
That is different. That is different.
Not really.
No, that is different.
That's just enough mechanics.
Exactly. Thank you.
Not Trajan, it's not.
Oh, we're gonna go there again.
Trajan is too many
It
mechanisms.
is perfect. So, I'm talking about games that, they want to pull over from column A, column B, and some of it's just busy work. It's just to keep you busy over here. I can get some points here, but then it doesn't make sense. No, it is not a
Stupid thing, and then this one's great, and this one's a circle, and this one's little things that go like this. That doesn't. I'm okay.
It's okay that you don't understand the Feld, but I think some of you know what I'm talking about. I've played one recently where there's just a lot of stuff happening, not Feld, and doesn't work. Doesn't work.
So,
Thank you.
so Mind Clash
I agree
games.
with you, but
Yeah, sure, maybe.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about.
how many
Yes.
worker placement spots are there in a Feast for Odin? Like 60 some, right?
Ah, well, I didn't say the thing. She did.
I know, but I'm asking you because you've played it. How much is it?
60 in the base game, and I think, or 61, something like that.
That's
The expansion moves it up to 65.
oh good. I needed 4 more. That really makes the game.
But you're still like feasting the Odin. You're not like
feasting
slaying
the
the
Odin.
dragon.
Have you played the game?
Let me go back to this I was doing earlier. That's 2 for 2 for you. You gotta stop.
I'm done though. I'm done. So we're good.
I can't even talk right now. Images, man. My number 1 is quite simple, and I think it's a mechanism that seems to be quite popular, and in my opinion, does not work.
Rolling right. I'm guessing.
That's not
I
it.
wouldn't say it.
Semi-cooperative. No, that's like saying most unique. No. Semi-cooperative. It's either cooperative or it's not. We used to have this many years ago when someone would be winning a game and you gang up on them. That's cooperating. We're semi-cooperating to pull them back. But no, now you got to fold it in there, and it's this idea of like, well, It's in the spirit. I hate nothing more than saying, well, that's not in the spirit of the game.
That's my number 6.
I'm sorry. If I'm not winning, why should I help the rest of you win? I'm keeping all the food in this colony. I'm shooting as many people as I can before I go down. I don't care how many zombies are outside. I get all the food or else. I just cannot stand semi-cooperative games. I keep trying them too. They keep coming out. I keep trying. I'm like, maybe this is the one. Go figure it out. Nope. If I'm falling behind, why would I keep helping? Just doesn't make sense.
Every time I mention this to a designer, because we go and they'll be like, it's a new semi-co-op game. I'm like, oh boy. They're like, no, listen. Then we explain, what the problem with semi-co-ops is. And I'm like, yeah, but if players play correctly, balderdash. Make the game right. Stop blaming us for playing your bad game.
Yeah, and everybody's fixed it. That's when you know that the mechanism's in trouble. Every time they come up with a new game, they're like, in this one, we fixed it. Yeah. Semi-co-op in this one actually works. It really doesn't, but stop doing it if it needs to be fixed. That's my number 1.
I thought your number 1 would be communication, vague communication.
Oh.
That's annoying, yeah. It's not quite rage-inducing for me, but I just hate it. Either let people talk or don't, and then vague communication rules, This idea of like, I can help a little bit. You're holding a 1, right? Like, I can bring the might of Thor. You're holding a 10 or whatever. That's so stupid. I can't deal with that yet.
All right, well, those are 5 things we'd like to get out of our face. I'm afraid to open this up to them. Does anyone here have anything they'd like to add to this? That has to be family friendly. All right, here.
Oh boy.
Quickly.
So you know how they have old game like Monopoly and then they redid it like when we came to Atlantic City. So you could like games for theme or moving stuff around, great Euros or beautiful art, but then they have Yahtzee and they just keep redoing it with rolling rights and it's the same thing over and over.
So like Talisman.
Yes, like Talisman.
Did you see that Batman Talisman was announced?
I'm going to walk around. How about
No joke.
I'll be
Batman Talisman.
I'm going to walk around with the mic.
Might be faster to.
I'll be that guy.
Did you see him walk right by? He didn't even look at you.
Earlier.
I agree with Suzanne about no. But it's kitties. Everything's kitties. Everything's unicorn.
That's
everything's
true.
poop.
Yes.
I don't understand.
I think we can all agree there's too much poop in board games at this point.
Definitely too much.
Games are you all playing?
When?
I don't know these
Why
poop
is there?
games.
There's
Are there a lot of poop? I don't play poop games. I don't know.
what board games?
Whoa.
How many of them
Let's
incorporate poop?
Minimum of 50.
Yeah, that is
Wombat.
true. That is more up my alley.
I've
You're
not
right.
seen any of these.
That's because I'm the one reviewing them.
You gotta spread that around.
What is happening?
There's definitely a trend in kids' games right now of poop-related.
That's kids' games though. I'm talking about like the board games. I just don't. I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Go ahead, sir.
Okay, so you get an expansion that adds a few cards to a deck or something like that, changes a few game mechanics, but the only way you know it's an expansion is either a tiny little number, 1.5 at the bottom, or nothing at all. So
Yeah.
if you take those cards out,
That's
don't
right.
got the card list.
That's
Especially nothing at all.
Or none.
And then
Or
there
none at
isn't
all.
a card list.
Yeah.
And it really wouldn't take that much ink to make an icon instead of just a number.
That's a good one.
So am I the only person who's like on the Board Game Geek and looked at pictures of the game trying to figure out what cards are in the expansion and which ones aren't to take it out.
Right.
And like forget it, staying in forever.
So there's actually a Tom Vassell narrative that I have to get out of my face. And that is that no one likes the Z, the Poet Tyrant, Rum and Bones promo pack. And I want to let you know, Z, that I actually did buy that off eBay with my own money.
Oh, the tears.
I know, yeah.
The TED Talk continues. Yes.
For those who watch that video, there was hugging and more that we can't talk about.
All right, go.
Vamp, y'all, vamp.
Oh, okay.
What are we doing? What?
No.
He said vamp.
So this is a very specific one for people who have children.
Uh-oh.
I have a child, and he enjoys playing games with other children. So I would like designers to stop making games that make them hit each other.
Oh.
And it's games like you pick up a card, and it says, yellow. Then slap your hand on the yellow fish as fast as you can, and you get it.
Got it.
Which means I give them the game, leave the room, and in 5 maybe less minutes, I hear, "Ah!" Because invariably, they have tried to get the yellow fish and whack the heck out of themselves, right in the hands. And they're literally, I've had 5 games in the last 3 months where they have them hitting each other in some way like that.
I mean, you do know that you could just not purchase the hitting games for your children, right?
I'm sorry, you know you can just not purchase the zombie game.
See, stop egging her on.
Yeah, bring that heat.
The problem is you don't know it's a smacking game until you get it home, because I want the game with the cute fishes on it. Okay, son, here you go. And then you get it home and it's not, no, it's child abuse.
That took a left.
Oh, child abuse. It's so
Yeah,
funny.
it's child on child abuse.
Unless you try to play it with your son.
No, then they're hitting you.
Then you let them win.
It's taking a very dark turn.
You have to not really try, because if you really try, you will hurt him.
Yes. So you don't try. You let the child win. What do you not understand?
Why do we used to get spiky bastards?
That's tomorrow night.
All right. I'm coming around.
Keep singing.
Have a seat. Have a
So when
seat.
you have a really good game that's got lots of strategic stuff and everything, and then all of a sudden they add in this one little rule like, okay, well, you have to draw a card where you have to do some kind of quirky thing by playing with your eyes closed or turning around backwards or throwing a card on the table.
That's Sam's number
That
6.
that is definitely my number 6. Definitely my number. I hate it
I
when.
don't need a silly element added into the game.
Yeah.
I just
Agreed.
Stop making us do stupid stuff.
You can do that without the game telling you to do it.
Or singing for the next round.
Yeah.
Or, yeah.
Z?
I was thinking one I almost got on the
When you're
list
done.
was games that make you say something. Just it has nothing to do with the rest of the game, but when you play this one card or do this one thing, you have to say
Quack.
"Ooh," or whatever.
Ave
I hate
Caesar!
that stuff.
What about if it makes you make
Yeah.
pew pew noises?
I hate it.
Still not good. Still not good.
Nobody's mentioned this, but for me, in our game group, a big pet peeve for me is a game where a player's turn is so long, and you've got 3 or 4 or 5 people, so long, your turn is a half an hour later. I've lost interest and I'm on my phone.
Well, I'm off the table at that point. I might be home already.
What are you talking about? You don't even sit down and play the game, man.
No,
Look
that's
at
a
the
good
boss.
one.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I gotta
Z, over here.
All right, just a couple more.
All right, where are we at?
2 more.
That is so right. I played a game of Arkham Horror, 7 players. I literally left the room, started watching a TV show, came back, and I still couldn't play my turn. So, yeah, I feel you.
For me, it's wordy rule books.
where they like explain things that everybody understands already. The perfect example is Lord of the Rings, the card game. If you've read that rule book, it is awful. Awful, awful, awful. So that's me.
Bad rule books.
In general.
Stop it.
Board game tints, and when a really important component is not a cube but a marble, and it rolls around, and I never know where it's supposed to be. I hate that.
Are you a marble? Are you thinking of a specific game?
Yeah.
Space Alert has that sort of oblong marker that always falls and rolls around.
Well, actually, it's not as bad as it used to be, but they used to, like, we don't want to use cubes, so they would use discs in games. Those discs were the worst. They'd roll across the board. Oh, that was bad.
To get them on their end, you mean?
And there was an old, was it not Vinos? There was a game was it Vinos that had the little grapes that rolled all over the board?
They actually had grapes in the game?
They have wine?
Not Vinos, no, it was an earlier one. It
Oh,
came
the
out
earlier
about-
version, okay, yeah.
Vintos maybe? I don't know.
You've played too many
something.
games, man.
They're all
You know how many rule books he's read?
Why not?
Are we on my done?
Yeah, come back up here and join us. All right.
Okay.
Alrighty, well that's that. If you are watching us on YouTube, comment on your own things to get out of your face, and if we like them, we'll leave them there. So, thank you to all you guys who are here.
Yeah.
Thank you to our audience. Until next time, I'm Tom Vassell.
I'm Eric Summerer.
I'm Suzanne Sheldon.
Sam Healy.
I'm Mandy Hutchinson.
And I'm Z Garcia.
What? How many times do we do the ending?
What?
See you on
What?
the flip side.
Is that a
All
thing? See you on the flip side!